Hello everybody and welcome to yet another Grenglish show. I hope you had a great week, and really it was the week of political horror both in Greece and Australia. Hang on, oh, what's that on the back of my pocket? This must have come from Canberra. This is how they do politics over there. Well, it was backstabbing central over there, new Prime Minister. And in Greece, more elections, the second elections in 8 months, like they're going to solve any problems. Yeah, right. And not to mention the amount of political parties that emerge from that situation. They emerge faster than those mushrooms that they pop up in the Adelaide Hills. Anyway, enough about politics. It's depressive as it is, so don't worry about it. Now, on today's show, the CFS Foundation received a generous donation recently by a Greek organisation. That actually quite rhymed, didn't it? Donation, foundation, organisation. Great. But that's later on the show. But first, a movie that everyone has been talking about, a film that everyone has been waiting for. Alex and Eve, an Australian production based on the original stage play Alex and Eve, written by Alex Lykos. The film is directed by Peter Andrikidis and starring Richard Brancatisano and Andrea Dimitriadis. It's a film that deals with the sensitive issue of interracial marriages. It talks about a young Greek man and a beautiful Lebanese Muslim woman. Those two fall in love. The love puts all the cultural differences on the side, but the families are at war. It's a fantastic film, a hilarious comedy, not to be missed. It hits cinemas October 22nd at all around Australia. It's a world premiere. If you miss it, you can watch it again at the opening of the Greek Film Festival later on in the year and in November in particular. Now, Alex Lykos, who also wrote the screenplay of the film, spoke to the Grenglish show along with Helena Stamoulis, one of the stars of the film, and here is what they had to say during this lovely interview.
Need to work on your love life, sir.
Why do I need a girlfriend?
You look empty.
Why should I get married when every married person I know is miserable?
You get married, you have kids, you're miserable, but at least you're married.
I may never get married!
Mohammed, your fiancé from Lebanon.
He's not my fiancé.
He's good Muslim Ummi from good Muslim family.
Yeah, just drop it. I'm not interested, just drop it.
Are you going to help me up?
Sorry.
I'm Eve.
Alex. My parents fine with my lack of religious convictions, as long as I marry a good Greek girl.
So this relationship is doomed then.
If you don't leave that, you lose your home, your family, everything.
You've been with non-Muslim.
You know shames his family.
We've been invited to Eve's parents' house.
Wait!
Dad, what are you doing?
Another drive-by shootings here. We've got to be careful.
Mr. and Mrs. Karistopoulos, meet my parents. Gay fuck.
You give fuck. You bloody Lebanese with your cronola right.
You Greeks, you go on the pension from when you teenager.
I love him, Dad.
They marry their kind, we marry our kind.
We're moving in together. That went well.
Better than I expected.
Alex Lykos and Helena Stamoulis, welcome to the Grenglish show, guys. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thanks for having us.
Danoksa?
Thanks for having us.
No problem, my pleasure, my pleasure. Well, next month is an exciting month for all of you guys, for the whole crew. Alex and Eve, the movie, finally, it's coming on the cinemas, to the cinemas. Is that exciting or what?
Finally? It's only taken 8 years.
Oh, right. Is that it? 8 years is nothing,
Yeah,
seriously.
no big deal.
No big deal at all.
8 years and millions of rejections and whatnot. So yeah, so I don't know why you're saying finally.
Well, it's actually hitting the cinemas. That's the main thing. So,
That's right.
all right, guys. It's an Australian production based on the original stage play Alex in It that you, Alex, wrote a few years ago, back in 2006. And
Yep, 2005 I actually wrote it, and we performed it for the first time in 2006.
Okay. And how did the audience like it? Greeks, Lebanese, Australians, how did it all mix?
Look, when we first started, you know, the theatre company, you know, we were just kind of trying to put on a show because we couldn't get it up anywhere. And I didn't have any links. Eleanor had a few kind of contacts and you know, some people that she knew, but I had quite a small circle of friends. And basically the first few days of the show, the first day was just our friends. The second day we cancelled the show because we had like 5 bookings. But then we got about 50 or 60 bookings for the Friday night show, the third show. And the audience really, you know, it was paid bookings. It wasn't our friends. And the audience really enjoyed it. And come by the second week, and it was predominantly a Greek audience back in 2006. So by the second week, there was some momentum that was built, and you know, some word had spread, and it kind of went really well in that second week. And then we, you know, brought it back in 2008.
So the rest is history, as they say, eh?
Yes. Now I don't know if you're aware, but there's actually 3 Alex and Eves.
That's correct. I was going to mention that we have a trilogy, like something like the Lord of the Rings sort of thing, but we have Alex and Eves. So
The Greek version.
That's right, the Grenglish version. You're right. Now I'm going to go back to the original stage play, but for now, let's talk about the movie. Alex, take us through the movie, the characters, the plot, the love, and the families.
Yeah, look, the script, the adaptation of the film is actually most of part 1 with a little bit of part 2 of the stage shows. You know, and it took a while to get there. It was quite funny because through the development process, you know, you get all these notes from different film types and whatnot. So you got to add this, you got to add this, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I just found myself by about the 10th draft, all I was doing was copying and pasting from the stage shows. You know, whenever they wanted something, you know, and then I'd give them that, and then they'd say, oh, but you're missing this. Okay, so then I just take that out and then get something else from the stage show and put that in, and so it's quite funny with all the different drafts that it went through, and he kind of went away from the stage shows for a little bit. At the end, after all the drafts, and after all the developments, and after all who read it and saw it and gave analysis, it was ultimately, you know, quite similar to the stage show, only more filmic.
So it was pretty much 3-in-1 kind of thing.
Well, more the first 2.
Yeah.
Because Alex.
Yeah, οι ηθοποιοί, τα παιδιά που παίζουν στην ταινία, right? The actors and the actresses. It's a mixture of different backgrounds, like Έλληνες, Λιβανέζοι, Αυστραλοί. Όλη αυτή η εμπειρία, πώς ήταν για εσάς να δουλέψετε με παιδιά from all different backgrounds? Helena.
Oh, look, it's always wonderful to be able to perform with any cast and crew when you're producing a film. You know, having an ethnic background and having a mix of ethnic backgrounds is just even better. Especially in this industry in Australia, where it's not so ethnic based. So giving the opportunities to you know, ethnic actors out there is a really good feeling.
And you have the role of Stella in this film. Tell us a little bit about her.
Well, Stella's a new character. She wasn't part of the theatre production. But she was added into the film version, and Estella is actually Alex's sister-in-law, so Alex's brother's wife. You know, they have a sort of one of those perfect marriages where, you know, you tick all the boxes, you get married, and, you know, everything's wonderful. You know, you have a kid, and, you know, that's what you do. That's what you're meant to do.
I play Alex's older brother.
So we're married in the film.
Eleanor's husband, and, you know, I've so-called followed the good Greek blueprint, you know, gotten a good job, you know, bought the investment property, found a good Greek girl, moved into the investment property, have had a child, and now probably bought another investment property. So follow that blueprint that we're all kind of encouraged to do, to counterbalance the Alex storyline, whereby he doesn't follow the Greek blueprint. He actually rebels against it, and of course falls in love with a Lebanese Muslim woman, which is as far away from the Greek blueprint as possible. So there's a nice little counterbalance of this little subplot, highlighting the differences that the two brothers have taken.
Sure. You guys, did you derive any personal experiences to bring this film and this stage play together? Like, did you go through a similar sort of situation, or you actually had to do some research, you know, different ethnic backgrounds, different aspects of cultures? How did it all work?
I, you know, back in 2004, 2005, I'd met somebody who was from a different cultural and religious background, and you know, just kind of thought, well, you know, that would have been, and she was off to London or something, and I just thought, well, that might be interesting to explore if, you know, what would have happened if, you know, she wasn't off to London or whatever. And I noticed that, and please excuse me, I've got a bit of a blocked nose. I noticed that a lot of my friends and acquaintances had, you know, met people of different religious and cultural backgrounds, because that's what Australia is now. And I thought, this would be good terrain to explore. You know, what would happen? How would parents react? Because one of the big things, you know, I can only speak for my parents, is, you know, my parents are quite old, and they came to this country with their idealistic values of what it means to be, you know, a Greek family, you know, and in many ways those values are frozen. Whereas, you know, a lot of, you know, the people in Greece are quite modern and they've moved on. Whereas it felt like, or feels like, that our parents, their values are kind of kept in a freezer. You know, the idea of their nekokira, and, you know, you're going to find the Greek ginekas, you're going to stay home and cook, you know, and all those types of...
and get married, obviously. And get
married, absolutely. If you don't,
you know, if you don't, you're an
outcast. It would be good to explore that terrain. And not only that, I remember about, you know, as I said, I wrote this in 2005. Back in 2003-4, you know, obviously my parents were, you know, harassing me, and they got to meet a good Greek girl, blah, blah, blah. And I kept saying, well, don't think that's the ideal, because I'm out in the scene and I'm seeing a lot of these so-called Greek couples that you have gone to so many of the weddings to. A lot of them are starting to divorce now for various reasons. So don't think that this ideal... And I was aware of it, because I'm out in the, you know, I was out in the scene going to bars and seeing people who are married, obviously going to different bars, and thinking, well, hold on, you're going to have a bit of a shock in a couple of years when this starts coming out. And of course he did, you know, as this ideal that he had, that my dad had in his head and whatnot, and it's understandable. It was kind of getting broken down, the ideology.
Sure. Helena, you know, being the Greek female, things are different, you reckon, towards the Greek girls from the Greek families in Australia, or there's, you know, the same for boys and girls? How do you see it?
Oh, look, you know, I think things are changing. You know, growing up, my family were quite liberal, so I wasn't exposed to that strict sort of value of you have to get married, you have to have kids. But a lot of people that I know were sort of pressured to do that and to go down that path. I think it's slowly changing. I think a lot of parents are seeing, you know, their own kids divorce, and they're more accepting if that person now brings home someone of a different background. It's definitely changing, and, you know, stories like this are what allow people to get exposed and see their own lives on stage or in a film. And they, you know, going back to our shows, we had so many people of all different backgrounds coming up to us after the show saying, oh my God, that's my sister, or that's my brother, or, you know, that's my cousin, or that's me, that's my life, you know. So it resonated so much with our audiences, and I think that's, you know, one of the reasons why it was so successful. It touched a lot of people, and people could relate to it.
And to add to that, there was a lot of examples of where people, you know, were in a relationship, you know, for example, a Greek girl was in a relationship with a, you know, a Lebanese boy or whatever, and the parents didn't know. and they were bringing their parents to the show to almost break them in before giving them the news.
Sure.
Just quite funny. All right. So they come, you know, they're kind of saying, "Hey, look at this theatre show. By the way, I'm kind of in that same situation, so please don't scream."
It's like,
You know.
And I also don't believe it's something that's only part of our own Greek background. I think it's in general. I think all backgrounds have that kind of want to be part of their own culture.
Marry your own, so to
marry
speak.
your own, stick to your own kind, and so forth. But I truly believe that's changing. And if it isn't, it should, because it's, you know, it's just such a narrow-minded view. You know, we're all human at the end of the day, and love shouldn't discriminate.
it's true, and what you said, Alex, before that, people would bring the parents to the show, to the play. In other words, coming out to them, like, look, listen, I'm actually dating someone who's not Greek. So it sounds like, you know, the Alcoholic Anonymous, you know, interracial marriages anonymous, something along those lines, you know. Hi, my name is, you know, Stephen, I'm married to, you know, I don't know, Mustafa or something like that, you know what I'm saying. And that's my next question. I mean, how did you manage to not just create a great comedy, such a great success, a great, you know, play now, movie now, dealing with such a sensitive issue, like sometimes controversial, you know, two different backgrounds, you know, they're mingling together and there is a love coming out of it. How hard was it for you to bring that to your audience?
Look, when I first started writing this story, and I said, and I made a commitment that this is a story that I wanted to explore, I made a very, very conscious decision very early on in the writing that I think kind of broke me into the story quite quickly. And that was, I made the decision to say, I'm dealing with Islam, which is quite sensitive and quite, you know, when you say, you know, generally when you say to somebody, oh, you know, Muslim, they're like, oh, that. So it's already dramatic, it's implied. So I thought, if I tell this story dramatically, it's basically, I'm pouring water on somebody who's already drenched. So I thought the strategy was, in the writing of this, was go the opposite. Try to make it as light-hearted as possible. The drama is already implied. We know that a Christian marrying an Orthodox or going with a Muslim, that's implied. You don't need to play the drama of that. It's already there. You know. And I thought that once I did that, it became clear to me, much easier for me, because I just almost mocked the drama and the seriousness with which we take religion. And I felt the further I went with that, the funnier it was, the more the audience were enjoying it. And, you know, almost in a way, the audience is laughing, enjoying themselves, and saying, well, yeah, why am I so parochial when it comes to religion, you know? So hopefully that's what an audience was walking away with on a subconscious level, you know, because, you know, once you start trying to drum into somebody's head a theme, you know, they're like, please stop preaching to me. But if you know, they have a good time and they laugh, then perhaps in a subliminal, more you know, subtle manner, they're getting the theme of cultural integration and exploring prejudice and all those types of things in a more light-hearted way, because they're having a good time, they're enjoying it, and it's like, hey, why are we taking it all so serious? We're on this planet in a short time, so we don't need to take it all so serious.
It's true. You guys, obviously the movie is premiering worldwide on October the 22nd. Obviously, it will screen in Greece and Lebanon, I believe.
We don't know yet.
I think.
Yeah, it's opening the Greek festivals on the 14th of October.
Okay.
So that's Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Brisbane. I think Brisbane's the 21st.
And Adelaide,
and then 22nd. Yeah, and then 22nd is general release.
Okay.
That's what I think the plan is. So. And I think it's great, you know, because the Greek festivals of Sydney, Melbourne and Adelaide have all supported the show.
Yes,
the stage show.
We had you back in 2009, guys, and I remember being on stage, taking photos from the side. I remember all that. It was a great, fantastic show. Now, let's remind to our viewers the world premiere of Alex and Eve, October the 22nd. Produced by, let me get this name right, Murray Fahe.
Murray Fahe is the producer.
Yes, and directed by Peter Andrikidis.
Peter
Nice.
Andrakidis is the director.
Yes, and the two stars, obviously, we have Richard Brancatisano and
Brancatisano.
Andrea Mitriadis. Of course, you,
And,
Alex.
yes.
Yes. Of course, you, Alex, and you, Helena, and some other names, Zoe Caritas, Tony Nikolakopoulos, Helen Shabet. Do I get this?
Helen Shabati.
Shabati,
Helen
there you go.
Shabati played the Lebanese mother in the stage show.
Yep.
She was fantastic.
And a few other names, Millie Samuels, Ryan O'Kane, and so many more. So we look forward to watching the film when it opens here in Adelaide. And hopefully we're going to get you back to in Adelaide for the two other instalments of the play, which we haven't seen yet. We have missed out.
So your viewers know, we do have Alex and Eve. We do have Alex and Eve the wedding, which is part 2, and then part 3, Alex and Eve the baby. But also 2 years ago we did Alex and Eve the complete story. So we did all 3 shows in one 2-hour show. So we condensed 6 hours of theatre into one 2-hour show.
Oh wow! It sounds like Alex and Eve marathon or something like that.
It was really good. So you know, I'm sure we're going to be putting that on sometime next year.
Great, guys! I want to thank you so very much for your time. Thanks for being on the Grenglish show. Alex Lykos and Helena Stamoulis, good luck with the film.
You.
I'm sure it's going to do great, and I'm sure we're going to talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Thea.
Thank you.
Thanks for that talk.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Alex and Eve hitting cinemas October 22nd. Make sure you watch it. If you miss it at the cinemas, you can watch it again during the opening of the Greek Film Festival all over Australia in all states. Now, as we mentioned earlier, the Greek Orthodox community recently offered a $5,000 donation to the CFS Foundation volunteers as a way of saying thank you for putting their lives in danger out there to save lives of our fellow South Australians. But more at the story that follows right now.
Ψυχαγωγία, Ράδιο 1. Μουσική, Ράδιο 1. Ενημέρωση, Ράδιο 1. 87,6. Ράδιο 1, ο σταθμός που εκπέμπει στην καρδιά σας.
The Greek Orthodox community of South Australia presented a $5,000 donation to the Country Fight Service Foundation on Wednesday in aid of the CFS volunteers. The amount was raised during a radio marathon organised by the Greek Orthodox community following the devastating bushfires east of Adelaide earlier this year. The cheque was presented to CFS Foundation Executive Officer Ms. Elizabeth Davis, who was touched by the gesture.
The community of South Australia would like to present you with this cheque.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
It is wonderful to have the support of the community. It will go directly to support CFS volunteers and their families in their time of need. Clearly, we have an ongoing role with some families. In the last 9 months, we have lost 2 CFS volunteers as a result of their emergency service activities, and we've also had volunteers who have lost all their homes and their property through Samson Flat while they're out fighting the fires. So what this means is that we continually monitor those who require our support, and we will give them additional financial assistance. So the support that the Greek community has provided will go directly to help them and aid them in their recovery to a better lifestyle and better health.
Minister for Emergency Services Tony Piccolo, who was also at the event, praised the Greek Orthodox community, saying it was an important gesture and a great demonstration of solidarity to their fellow South Australians.
And I thought it was a really great gesture for the community, the Greek community, to say, look, you know, we're part of this broader community. We weren't affected by the fire directly, but we understand that a lot of people do. And whether it's $1 or $100 or $10,000 or whatever, it's immaterial. It's the fact that you actually thought about them. You know? The fact that you actually thought about a community which is not the immediate part of yours, and you thought about other people. That's the important part.
Well, the presentation tonight of a $5,000 cheque to the CFS Foundation just shows what a strong community are, and the different communities within South Australia who acknowledge the contribution made by volunteers. So it is a very generous offer, and it's also a very sign of strong compassion for our communities, and a recognition of, if you like, the way that people put their lives on the line for the greater good. And the fact that people here tonight who made the donation were not necessarily directly affected by the fires, but prepared to donate, indicates what a strong community we are.
The Greek Orthodox community decided to run the radio marathon in March. The community's president, Mr. Bilgonis, said they were touched by the devastation caused by the bushfires and that it was time for them to act.
One of the members brought up the fires and obviously the seriousness of the fires, the amount of resources that have gone into it, the losses by many of the people up at Samson Flat, and they said, well, as a community, as an ethnic community, what can we do, what can we offer, and how can we go about assisting?
A very good gesture by the community and by the members who thought about reaching out and helping another community that was that obviously went through a tragedy such as the Samson fires. And I think the Minister really nailed it earlier on when he said it's not so much the contribution but the thought of helping another community. And I think this is indicative of the Greek Orthodox community here of South Australia, that we're always reaching out, and certainly that's something we want to continue doing in helping other communities, and not only looking towards us but looking outside our fence, so to speak, and seeing what we can do for the community in general.
It's not the first time the Greek Orthodox community raised funds for emergency relief during a natural disaster. In 2007, $127,000 was raised through another radio marathon and with a contribution of the state government towards the victims of the August 2007 deadly bushfires in Greece. Consul General of Greece, Mr. Andreas Gouras, as well as the chair of the South Australian Multicultural and Ethnic Affairs Commission, Ms. Grace Portalesi, also attended the event.
Okay, peeps, that's all we had time for today. By the way, I forgot I didn't speak any Grenglish. What's going on? Maybe you should send me some of your favourite Grenglish expressions or words or whatever. And of course, if you watch Alex and Eve, you're going to see a lot of Grenglish going on there, and Lebanese and a lot of other stuff. So, thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy the spring weather. Well, for those who like spring and summer, I'm not one of them. I know. So enjoy the spring weather. Have a great time wherever you are, whatever you do. And I'll see you again next time. Και να μην ξεχνάτε να χαμογελάτε. Πολλά φιλάκια σε όλους. Γεια σας.